Are you starting to realize that you walk into an office or or you meet your team over Zoom, and you're noticing in general the teams are not as excited as they used to be when you first started to work with them? Maybe you're facing a situation where your organization wide, you're hearing from different parts of the organization where employees are just, the morale is down, they're not as motivated to work. And it's not just the pandemic. We've been in the pandemic for quite some time now, but there just seems to be an overall low productivity, a lot more errors are taking place, high employee turnover, and you're kind of trying to figure out, like, where is this root cause, or what are some of the things that are causing that. So if you're signing in, if you're watching this live, or if you're watching this later, I'd love to hear from you. Put in the comments below, where are you watching this from, where are you signing in, and what are some of the challenges you're seeing when it comes to getting your teams motivated and excited and being really involved and happy about their work. If we haven't met before, my name is Fahim Karim, and I'm an employee engagement expert. And I work with companies that are small and medium-sized, faith and value-based, and I help them in employee engagement. And sometimes I get asked this question about employee engagement, like, why, as a CEO of an organization, why should I be interested in employee engagement? And why you? So first, let's talk about employee engagement. Why is the need for it? And what are some of the misconceptions about employee engagement? You see, employee engagement, in my humble estimation and research, is that it's actually a symptom and not a disease. You heard me right. Employee engagement and disease. What do I mean by that? I equate employee engagement similar to type 2 diabetes. If you go to a regular doctor, if you have some symptoms, the doctor will tell you, well, you now have a chronic disease called type 2 diabetes. But if you go to an expert who really understands type 2 diabetes and has really resolved this chronic disease, will tell you this is not a disease. This is not a chronic disease. Rather, it's a symptom. And there's several factors that causes that symptom to show up. And when it does, we call it type 2 diabetes. So what those expert doctors do is that they go and work with the patients, and they look at the different factors. So in the case of type 2 diabetes, it may be the lifestyle, the food, the stress level, how the work environment is, multiple factors, access to the sunlight, vitamin D, right? And so all these multiple factors, when they're addressed and they're taken back to the level where they didn't have type 2 diabetes and the lifestyle was much more healthier, guess what happens? Type 2 diabetes is gone. Now, employee engagement, according to data to Gallup, more than 60% of U.S. employees are disengaged. If you think that's bad, look at worldwide. Worldwide, more than 80% of employees are disengaged. So this is it seems like a chronic disease, but it's not. It's really a symptom. And there's several things that causes this employee engagement to take place. Now, why is it important to address it? Why is it important to address type 2 diabetes? Hey, I can take insulin and I can still go on. Yes, you can. But what's that doing to your liver? What's that eventually doing to your lifestyle? What's that eventually going to happen to your life down the road? What would happen instead if you got rid of diabetes and your life expectancy goes up, and you have such a better quality of life, you have a healthy lifestyle, and everything is just working for you amazingly. The same thing for employee disengagement. When we address those factors, there are multiple of them, which I personally review all of them, and I work with organizations in addressing and fixing that. Then, when that is addressed, imagine the performance of the company, how the employees feel. Everybody feels inclusive. It's an inclusive culture. People are free to express their opinion and ideas. Your company continues to innovate and grow. So in regards to the question, why me? Well, perhaps you know or not, but I have worked in one of the largest financial institutions in the world. And I was in charge of managing some of the most high-risk businesses. If something were to go wrong at any given moment, I would have a $2 billion minimum risk happening at any time, right? And I was involved in implementing systems and applications that have huge risks, and anything can go wrong if those are not done. And to have a team that is cohesive, that is cooperative, that is really enthusiastic and involved, and is also helping all of us get feedback to improve on the process was always key in making sure that the systems that I implemented, the teams that I managed, or the teams I collaborated with in building new applications and digital transformations, merge integrations, all were key. The key factor to all of them was focusing on the people side on mainly. But not just that, there are other things that does cause employee disengagement. One of them has to do with systems, how the systems are inefficient, processes and bureaucracies, a lot of those factors. However, for today's topic, the one I wanted to share with you, I wanted to expand on, is what I shared earlier this week is a happier team leads to a happier you. And today I'm going to explain a little bit more about that concept and why and how easy it is. You can do it today. You can start to apply some of these concepts right away and see the difference it makes. Before we get more into this topic, put in the comment. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what are some of the things that you're seeing when it comes to your enthusiasm of the team. What are some of the things that you find is challenging as a leader or as a manager, and what are the things that you have tried and the results you've seen. I'd love to hear from you. Let me give one more example of what is the difference between an employee that is engaged versus what people think sometimes what's an employee that is engaged. Imagine you went to a retail store and the music is playing and the employees just like bobbing their head and at the cashier counter. And that's not employee engagement. That's not an engaged employee. An engaged employee is when that customer comes up to the cashier counter, the employee looks at the products that the customer bought and says, oh, this is great. By the way, did you think about this other thing that we have? It really would complement what you have here. Oh, I was wondering what are the things that you like that you would that we could help you with in this store. So the employee is not only just thinking about the customer, but also is thinking of how to create more value for this customer with the existing services and products that we have in store. And they're not doing it from a place of just for the commissions or for the incentives, which is necessary to incentivize, but they're doing it also because they really believe in the product that they're selling, and at the same time they really love the management that supports them, that has nurtured them, that is helping them develop and grow. So that's what I mean, and that's what we want to see that's what I mean when I say a happy team. A team that feels that the manager that they're working for, the leader they're working with, is truly cares about them, truly wants to help them grow, regardless within the space that they're working in right now or within the company or even externally, but actually aligns the tasks that they are going to be working on with the aspirations they have internally so that they can grow, right? So that's what a happy team looks like, where everybody feels that they can trust the leadership. They know that the leadership is willing to invest their time in helping them grow. So one of the things I shared on that weekly video is that helps to create that happy environment is to not bring negative emotions to work as a leader or as a manager. And I want to give another example of the negative emotions. Imagine, and this is based on research from Harvard that shows that, imagine there is a CEO or an executive or a manager. He is working at a team and he's starting to get these thoughts in his mind. I can't trust this guy. It's the same kind of people I saw in the previous organization. I'm seeing this again. These are people incompetent. These are I cannot they're like not trustworthy. Now, sometimes those thoughts may be true. However, in our mind, we have a lot of negative chatter. And some of those negative chatter, based on research, shows that it's not just based on where we are right now, but if we were to look at it carefully, maybe throughout the 5, 10, 20 years of our career, maybe within different organizations, we've had the same negative chatter. And sometimes it even goes back to early childhood. The negative chatter is there. So now, if we, as a leader, as a manager, react to the negative chatter, that, oh yeah, this guy, yeah, I can't trust this guy. I'm going to let him know you are not trustworthy. What you're doing is I don't appreciate that, and I really am going to really question if you really care about this organization or not. Now, when we act that way, when we act upon the negative thought, which may or may not be true, what happens to that employee? And if, especially when that negative thought is inaccurate, and most of the time it is, because of our own mindset, we tend to look at the world with our own set of experience and lenses when the world necessarily isn't like that. Imagine, I'll give you a simple metaphor. Imagine I'm wearing a sunglass, and in that sunglass, there's somebody with two horns, with two horns on top of the sunglass. So everybody I look at through the sunglass, I see this. They're like the devil, like the two horns on top of their head. When it's not there, it's not the reality, right? So these negative chatters sometimes really impairs our ability to make our teams feel happy and excited to come to work. We tend to feel that, no, my emotions are truly the right emotions when they really are not my own emotion. It's coming from a past experience. So we first have to accurately identify the lack of the, accurately identify what exactly am I feeling and why am I feeling that way. Is it truly based on evidence, or is it based on my perception of what I think is a reality, right? So that's number one. When we suppress that negative thought and approach the employee with a positive mindset, then the employee, even though, let's say, the person was negative, but because me as a leader, as a manager, having a high expectation of this person as something positive, that I really know you can do more, and I know that you have the capacity, but for some reason you fell short here, but let me try and help you. Let's talk about this. Where do you think we can work on, meeting our expectations here? Where can we fall short? Where did we fall short? So that way, the person doesn't feel defensive. The person doesn't feel that, okay, my boss doesn't really trust me, so what's the point, right? No matter what I do, I can't really convince him or her. We give the door of communication is open. So if there's one thing that I want you to take from this live session, is that no matter what, never ever make your employees feel that you don't trust them. Never make them feel that they are worthless. Never make them feel that they are inadequate. The more high expectations you have of them, high expectation meaning that not more demanding, but you really have very positive thoughts about what they can achieve, they will rise to that. They will rise to that because you have that expectation of them, right? And think about your own history, your own past. What are some of the managers you really enjoyed working with? And you will see, or the leaders you worked with, or the people you love to have in your family, are the ones who had a high expectation of you, who thought good about you, and that you rose to that occasion. So that is number one. That was the first thing I wanted to share. So please leave me a comment on the bottom. I'd love to hear more from what are the challenges you're facing in your teams when it comes to trying to make sure that they have a happy experience or a positive experience in their team, and you being their leader, what are some of the things that you're doing that is helping them? Or what are some of the things you've tried and it hasn't worked and you would need some, I'd love to hear from you. And lastly, I want to share with you this one thing, that despite how things have gone, right, never ever think that it is dull and it's never going to change. The experience that the employees have, the negative experience, you are able to, if you put the efforts and if you consciously work on certain techniques and systems and strategies that I have, to share with you. If you use them, you will see that you will start to see the change in them. It is not all dull and gloom. People are going to respond, even though you might have, you may have, let's say, some of the things that I mentioned, you might have accidentally have done that with them, but don't think that's the end of it. You can be the opposite going forward by using this positive approach, giving them the confidence that no, you know what, I'm sorry what I said before. Let's say accidentally you might have said it. Just say, restart the relationship by on a new footing, letting them know that that was something that shouldn't have been coming out of your, the way you said it. It was not exactly how you should have said it. However, let's work towards something positive, and let them know that you do have positive expectation and that you're going to work with them in helping them grow, that it's not just about them, but it is about the both of you working together, helping to bridge that gap of what is missing. Like they may be feeling like, I'm inadequate based on what I've said. Maybe I've said something negative. They may feel like, you know what, I'm inadequate for this job, so why am I even doing this? Let's not let them have that feeling. Let's discuss that. Like, why do you feel you're inadequate? Is it because of something I said? Or is it because of something that you feel you're inadequate? So for example, one more example. Let's say I asked a person, one of the team members, to complete a particular task. Now this team member is thinking, oh, I got to do 10 different things before my manager thinks, before Fahim thinks this task is complete. While I only had maybe just 3 tasks in mind for this person to do, and then this person can delegate to other teams to complete the remaining 7 tasks. Now, when that person has that incorrect understanding that Fahim wants me to do 10 things when I already have 20 things I'm working on, that person is going to feel inadequate. This person is going to think I've given this person a task that is just not doable, and they're going to get more frustrated, and they're going to feel like I can't do this task, right? And the motivation is going to go down. However, by having the discussion, like, let's see why. Is there is there anything that you feel like is making you feel inadequate? Well, Fahim, I thought I got to do this 10 different things, and I don't have the capacity. Well, guess what? I'm not expecting you to do 10 different things. Just these 3 things, and the rest I want you to work or give this to other teams that will be doing that, will be helping you to do that. So by addressing those things, your team will be so much more happier, so much more willing to work with you, because you have made it more realistic for them to achieve their task. You have made them feel truly that you have high expectation of them, that you have a great outlook for them because you believe in them, and that you know that they are qualified in doing the task that you're assigning to them. So if you like what you heard today, go ahead and connect with me in LinkedIn, or even follow me here in Facebook, so that you don't miss out on anything, on the most latest tips and strategies that I have to share with you, so that your teams love to work with you. So until we meet again, I'd love to hear your comments. Until we meet again, I'd love to leave you with this thought: tread softly, speak kindly, and love unconditionally.